I'm a volunteer for Foundation for African Cultural Heritage, FAC, the producers of this seminar. FAC is an umbrella civil society organization, so we comprise, our members are civil society organizations, and each organization has its own cause. So we deal with human rights issues. We deal with the promotion of the family. We deal with empowerment of the youth. We also deal with providing sufficient or adequate medical care to those who find it challenging.
The family plays a role that the state government has never been able to play and will never be able to play. The solution to the ills of society lies with the family and its members. How then can the family effectively tackle these 21st century challenges? Because most of the challenges I mentioned, of course, are challenges in this century. And then I believe the solutions could be considered from the two perspectives. Families retracing their role and values as the bedrock of the society.
One of the speakers, a lawyer, Mrs. Elizabeth Idegbe, said that the family is the most permanent of all social institutions. Mrs. Idegbe urged individual families to retrace their role and values as the bedrock of the society. She appealed to parents to make all-round development of their children a priority.
Each of us, being members of families, will be vessels of transformation to make the world a better place. You all have potentials and resources to change the world. I urge you to work at building strong families, believe in yourself, and choose to do good. Develop healthy identity and character as core family values, and extend this to the society at large. Yes, you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. Philippians 4:13. Fulfill your God-given potentials. Be forward-looking, ethical, and responsible.
On his part, the Director of Islamic Affairs and Chief Imam of the Nigerian Navy, Imam Gidado Migdan, who highlighted the challenges facing the youth to include failed parenting strategy, addiction to social media, and impatience, urged parents to monitor their word closely. He urged religious leaders to provide leadership and guidance to the youth by preaching spirituality rather than prosperity.
We need religious leaders to provide mentorship. We need religious leaders who will talk to the millennials about God the Almighty without confusing them. We need religious leaders who will preach spirituality away from connecting it to materialism or prosperity. We need religious leaders who are not prosperity preachers, who tells you that this is your year of whatever they call it. So you see the guy jumping all over the places. They have said, this is my year of this. This is not the right value. Reset the mindset to recognize God, and God will make everything available for you.
A veteran actor and lecturer, Professor Solaf Posdo, said self-discovery is crucial and advised parents not to force their choice of course on their children, as it might in the long run have a negative impact on the society.
Trainers of actors of old are saying that training is very, very paramount. Now, if you just have talent and you have a lot of it and you are not trained, let me tell you, your performance will be monotonous. You'll be on the same level. You know, we cannot see dynamism in your performance. But when you are trained, when you have talent and you combine it with training, then you acquire the technique that you need to become dynamic.
The world is going towards artificial intelligence, robotics. And if you are gearing towards that area, using it in the right way though, then you are doing the right thing. I'll give you 5 things you look at when you want to start business. Passion, talent, skills, your course of study, and opportunity. You see, the beauty of what we are doing is that almost all the lectures are linking up, right? The person that talked to us about discovering yourself. Who am I? Discovering your potential. All these things will help you to channel you towards the right answer.
If you want to change the world, you have to solve problems. It's not about let government bring light. Well, that light we don't have in Unilag may be the opportunity that's been waiting for you, right? Look around you, find the problems you can solve, and channel all the energy of your youth to trying to solve those problems. It's not every time you will succeed, but every time you don't succeed, you would have learned something that will help you succeed in the next one.
Also, a Kenyan mother and founder of Alabaster Africa, Miss Martha Boren, who shared her life experience on how she had 7 abortions, encouraged the youth to disengage from premarital sex.
There are rules to relationships. Listen to your leaders, listen to your parents, listen to your pastors. Listen. Sex is for marriage. It's not for pleasure. It's for marriage. It was meant, it is good and it's by God, but it's for marriage. It will lead you down a road you'll never want to go. You'll be so tormented psychologically, you'll be at sorts. But follow the normal ways that you are taught by our people, by our culture, how that takes us down relationships. Because God made us to relate, and He will lead you to the right person.
When you tell people are pro-life and they read out all terms and objectives, people will run away. Because for you to be a pro-lifer, you must follow, you must practice what you preach.
The conference was organized to address some of the challenges facing the youth and the society at large.
Pornography is not a joke. Many of us are curious about it, but it's very, very toxic. It can destroy your life, and it's very, very dangerous for women, not only because of the crimes that are perpetrated on the women, but also because of the objectification of women that it fosters. By the time you finish watching porn and having casual sex everywhere, you start to look at women as objects. They don't seem like human beings anymore. And we talk about violent crime and serial killers, but even things like child molestation and incest, it has its link to pornography as well. So for the good of the women and the children and also the men, we need to say no to pornography.
Sex is beautiful, but the person who initiated sex, who is God, said it's just for the married people. So if you are not married, you have no business with sex. Am I communicating? And so I tag me a cake, I'll wear the tag proudly. Call me ancient, I agree. But I strongly believe celibacy and chastity, they are possible. Do not mix. Forget all this pressure from your friends. Forget social media. Forget the movies. It is not a must-have. You need oxygen. That's a must-have. You need water. You need food to survive. You do not need sex to survive. I am not against sexuality education. What I am saying is, if it must be taught, let the parents be the first set of people to teach. If it must be consolidated, let the parents and the educators be part of that education. Because when it's taught in classes, they enact sexual acts for them. They bring manicures of the female genital organ and that of the genital organ of the man, and then show how it is. They even go as far as saying that in case the contraceptives don't work, you can abort. They teach it as that. That's why your niece or nephew could ask you what a sperm is. Because they are being taught in the wrong way. Because I will not teach my daughter or my son at 9. I will simply let her know that her body or his body is important and must be guided. And that your body, parts of your bodies are private. And they are called private because they are personal to you. And you have to safeguard them.
I was at the conference just earlier this week. And like you said, we had all of these things, condoms and everything, and it made it look like it was a normal thing for you to have sex. It was a normal thing for you to know how to use condom. It was a normal thing for you not to abstain. At a point, I was not looking at how the condoms were demonstrated. I was looking away, and I got up and I said, are we human beings? Can you talk about abstinence? Can you make these young people think otherwise? Because it became something like, oh, this is how to wear condom. This is how to female condom, male condom. Are we still normal? And I think that's what we need to do. A boy child needs information, and we need to say it and say it right. And I think propaganda annoys a lot. We also should begin to say things and say those things right.
Basically, in order for society to change, we all need to inspire love, love of ourselves, love of the people around us. And this starts with the family. It starts with us young people. We're the ones who are about to start having families. We're the ones who will eventually get married. We're the ones who will eventually raise children. And it starts from us learning to love God and love ourselves. And when we're able to love God and love ourselves and love our spouses, we inevitably love our children as well and bring them up in love to practice love. And when we have a community of people who can love, then we have a better society.
So it's important to begin to engage the youth. Perhaps if they know what marriage is all about, the requirements, the virtues needed to make it work, perhaps this kind of problems, divorce, separation, acid, killing, will reduce. And again, I know that the youth is the cream of the society. If we get the youth to have good families, from good families we have good society. And from good society we have the better world to live in.
Norms anymore. Now there's just so much confusion around what it is to actually date. So what's important is that we go back to the basics. We go back to getting to know people. We go back to building friendships. We go back to involving people in our relationships, like your family and your friends, so that they too can know the person. And so if there are any red flags, they are able to help you see them if you cannot see them yourselves. It's going back to virtues of chastity and morality. I think that those are the main things going forward that we would need to take into consideration so that we can start moving forward as millennials and having healthier relationships.
Participants at the event, who are mostly students, while sharing their experiences, said the event has changed their mindset about family and the society at large.
We should learn to keep our chastity. We should be ourselves. We should learn to strive to be the best in life. We should always look forward in attaining something good. And we shouldn't let anybody be our downfall. We should lay a good platform for ourselves and for others, I guess.
I've learned that I'm beautiful and that I shouldn't try and do things that are not good just so that somebody else will want to love me or want to be with me. I will try my best. I learned that I should try and work hard with the talent I'm given by God so that I can succeed in life.